Okay, let's sit down and see what you're looking for so we can tell you if that's okay or if you need some help in some place. And in, I think 3 of every 4 cases, they were looking to implement one tool, but not seeing the whole picture or what's the implementation for that. I remember one case that one customer was building a big system, contracting a company to build a software that my first question is, how many users will use this application? It's just one user. And how many transactions per day will, I don't know, it's 2 or 3 transactions per week or maybe less on holiday.
Hey guys, and welcome once again to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Pablo Vittori from Medinga. And we'll be diving into his story a little bit today and, things like what his company does, as well as some engaging insights into the technology industry. So make sure to stick around. But without further ado, Pablo, welcome.
Okay, Frank, thank you very much for the opportunity and the time for this podcast. Actually, you mentioned me. I'm Pablo Vittori. I'm a technology professional with over 30 years on the market. It's a long time. Yeah. Actually, I'm 53 and I started at 18 doing things on technology. I have a mixture of entrepreneur, corporate guy, but always working on technology, working on innovation, on helping customers to create digital products. That's my background. And it's really interesting to have the opportunity to talk about growth here.
Excellent. Tell me, Pablo, how did you, get into this business sector? You've mentioned now, obviously, you've been at it for 30 years. What was like that initial spark, that you said, this is the thing that I'm passionate about? How did you get to that?
Okay, that's a long story, but actually I started programming. When I was young, I was studying on the university, computer science, and trying to get into doing things, actually. And my first job was in a transport company, a company that managed trucks from all around Argentina. And I was suffering with a system that was a legacy system that was used to manage all the business in that moment. And I was complaining all the time for the user experience, the potential use of the system, and the lack of support we had. And the business owner in that moment, he asked me, "What are you doing on the university?" I tell him about my career and say, "Okay, if you are complaining all the day about the system, why you don't build a system yourself to manage the company?" And I was young, I was 20 in that moment. I said, yes, of course. In 6 months, I built something that was working decently well for the company and solving a lot of problems. And in that moment, the business owner told me that there is a huge opportunity in the market to sell systems like that because the companies had to adapt systems from other industries to their needs. So I started selling the same system to other companies, and I started there with 20 years, early stage, working on technology, just because I had complained a lot with my boss. Then I continued doing the business for over 5-6 years. And in some moment, someone called me and was asking for someone to manage a support service in a local representative of Apple Computer in Argentina in the year 94, 95. I was interested because were 2 different computers for what I used to use on my daily work. The software opportunity was working well, but it was steady and the system was self-sustained and used by a few companies that can support the system themselves. And I applied to that opportunity and started working with support services. Nothing to do with software programming, was just technology, but other side of technology. Was a really interesting career. And a few years later, the same company started introducing internet services to their customers, to their Apple customers in Argentina. I had the opportunity to do some telecommunication stuff with that company, implementing services, and move it to different manager roles, support services, and then move to other company working in internet. That was my initial experience, but with the time, I had the opportunity to start that business, that software business for myself. Then understanding how to work with customers, facing with my first customers on my company, and then with support customers on Apple, working with big companies, with agencies, with advertising agencies, with publishers, with media, and that was the time when I changed my career to something more oriented to operations, to customers facing stuff, and all the stuff, and moved in different roles. And suddenly I started managing teams from 20 people to 30 people to 100 people in different companies. I worked exactly growing with more people, working with different customers, big customers. We launched the first internet sites for big companies in 97, 98, 99 here in Argentina. And actually was all the time running innovation. And one thing that we were talking with some friends a few days ago, I have the luck and the chance to be on the 3 or 4 main shift on technologies. First, internet in the late 90s, then mobile technology on 2008, 2009 with Android and iPhone. Then with data over the time, cloud services a few years ago, and now working with some companies that's working on AI, on that kind of stuff. I have the chance to be part or be involved on this technical shift that we suffer over the years with new technology, with new disrupting technologies. Over the years, I had the opportunity to work in corporations also. I worked for EDS and HP. I worked for many companies in Latin America. I have the chance to start working with the US in 2003, 2004, outsourcing part of the work from Argentina. And in 2008, I will start working with mobile development. We built a mobile shop here, at a boutique that created applications for startups in San Francisco. We worked with the startup from West Coast, building teams and mobile applications here in Latin America. And with the time, I had the chance to work to join a company called Globant. I moved part of my team to that company. I created a mobile team at Globant. We were starting like 150 people working with big brands all around the world. And in a term of 4 or 5 years, we grew from 150 people on my team to manage all the technology team on Globant with over 3,500 people under my supervision. And I moved to the US in 2018 to San Francisco to manage part of the operation there. And we have, in that moment, over 7,000 people distributed around Latin America. That was very interesting. A place where I learned a lot of finance, operations, customer experience, project management, talking with leaders on different big companies like Disney, like United, like JP Morgan. That was a really interesting experience. And when I left the company in 2018, I have a small problem.
Yes.
There was a really hard to get a place like Loan to continue working in the same way and the same rhythm and the same kind of projects, And in that moment, I started helping small companies to define some strategies, some hiring, getting the right managers, training the leaders of their teams to manage more
Yeah.
capacity, to
Oh,
grow.
wow.
And that moment, based on the experience I get from Globan and the other companies, I decided be to convert my career into a consultancy mode, and try to share the knowledge and experience I had with the
Yes.
different
Yes.
companies, helping small ones uh, to to organize operations, to growth on teams, to reach new clients and that kind of stuff. And with the years, over the last 5 4 years, also companies that are not technology companies or not service companies, like that was my first target, started
Yeah.
calling me because they needed an advisor on technology. They needed a CTO, but they weren't big enough to hire a full-time CTO.
Okay, like a
Uh,
fractional CTO.
exactly,
Got
exactly. That's
it.
where they have a product or an idea, or they are traditional service companies that were implementing technology, but they didn't have the focus or the vision on how to implement
Somebody to
technology in
execute.
their. Exactly.
Okay.
And that's when I changed my strategy to be more a consultancy company, not just an advisory role or a helping role. And I created a group of people with different backgrounds, operations, human resources, talent development, technology, of course, and started doing some consultancy work on this fractional CTO model or CTO as a service.
Yes. Yes.
Helping different companies to define strategies or implement ideas. Challenge ideas also, because in some cases the some startups were aiming to get customers before they get the right idea in place,
Mm.
creating MVPs, testing ideas and building the product market fit for some technology ideas. That's the kind of stuff that we are doing right now.
Excellent. Tell me, Pablo, like from you mentioned now, from it might be, customers that doesn't necessarily have that permanent position available as a CTO, and to the services of your consultancy business as being that fractional step in, right? What would you what would you say is the most significant value of your business? What it is that you guys can bring to your clients? What is it that they find joy in?
Oh, actually, I think it's experience.
Mm.
Uh, Most of the cases, a customer calls me and say, "Okay, we are implementing this kind of technology, and
Yeah.
we want to add big data, or we want to implement AI, and we are contracting a big firm that will build for us all the project we have."
Mm.
And when my first response is, okay, let's sit down and see what you're looking for,
Mm.
so we can tell you if that's okay, or if you need some help in some place. And I think 3 of every 4 cases,
Yeah.
they were looking to implement one tool, but not seeing the whole picture, or what's the
Your picture.
implementation
Uh, good
for
point.
that. I remember one case that one customer was building a big system, contracting a company to build a software.
Mm.
That my first question is, how many users do you will use this application? It's just one user. And how many transactions per day will, I don't know, it's 2 or 3 transactions per week, or maybe less on holidays. Okay. And why you are not using an Excel, for instance? No, we need an application. Why?
Yes.
Because my consultants tell me that we need an application for that.
Yes.
And we build a small application with Google Sheets, and you have a system here. You have your system here. It's 1 transaction or 2 transactions per day, just one user. We put all the safeguards to don't alter the Google Sheet in any way. Just put the information together, and he saved I don't know, but $20,000 in one just application that was only. I tried to understand what is the need of the product, or what is the need of the company, how they put together things, the technology that is available or not, and put a product perspective on the technology implementation. It's what is the need, what is the market fit for what you are doing, what are the end users, what is the final goal, what are the metrics you will have to put together to see if the project is successful or is a failure.
Yes. I found that very interesting. And I mean, especially what you guys do, I think, as well as just from a productivity or time saving or cost saving point of view, streamlining these different systems. And like you mentioned, it always starts with somebody wanting something, but if you have to look at it from a 30,000-foot overview, to fully see what the scope is and what the other challenges is, because that might not be the real problem. So
Exactly.
I fully get that's quite significant. The Pablo, in your opinion, right? A bit more general, but what type of mindset would you say, out of the experience that you've gained, what type of mindset is needed to be a successful founder of a company?
Well, the first one is, don't be afraid of the environment. I talk a lot with the founders and entrepreneurs over the years, and one of the common traits they have when they fail is they are too afraid to continue with something, or when they saw a roadblock or a problem or something that is more complicated than the original idea, they tend to abandon or give up or be more cautious on the way they are doing things. And I think it's the patient for what you're doing, really believe on what you are building, and the lack of fear, not be totally relentless, but don't be afraid of the roadblocks. Try to look forward, go for the goal you put in front of you, and try to be rational and consistent with the idea.
Excellent. That's sound advice. Those are a couple of good golden nuggets, as they say. So I'm sure there's some of the listeners that will definitely take them up. Tell me, Pablo, where can we get hold of you guys?
Sorry.
Where can we get hold of you guys?
Well, one of the things that I learned with the time, it's your podcast is Grow IT. It's how you grow, and I have very, very often discussions on how we sell, how we convince our customers or what we are doing is right. And in my case, all over the time, was recommendation. It's something that worked with me and recommend us for a new project, and our customers used to say, trust this guy. He helped me with this or with that. Exactly. And in the last few months, with the changes of the market, with the new demands, I'm seeing that it's more and more needed some good advice. AI, for instance, is changing the way that we think, and it's also forcing people to take decisions on trying to be on top of the AI movement. I want to do something with AI. I need generative AI to make, for instance, credit scoring, and I say, okay, wait, generative AI is something totally different to credit scoring. You need some machine learning or big data tools to make credit scoring, but generative AI is to interpret text and give you the chance to put together words, not a credit score.
Yes.
And I'm trying now it's to do, for one side, it's be more educative with the community, via webinars, podcasts, and stuff. Try to be more communicative, and I invite other companies to call us and make some talks about technology trends and implementation of these technology trends. And another side, it's okay, if you need some help, let me do some quick introductory discovery to understand what you need, and I can direct you with the right team to do this or that thing.
Understood. Oh, lovely. Pablo, thank you so much for coming on today. It was lovely. And thank you for these insights you provided us with. We really appreciate it. Is there, if you don't mind, just to give your website address or a contact number, to if you touch.
Yeah. It's Mandinga. If you can write it down, because
Yeah, we're
Mandinga.
gonna send it out to them as well, to everybody.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's the website and the name of the company. Let me clarify something. When I use my personal name in most of the presentation and introduction, but we put together this name Mandinga. It's a word in Latin America, in Argentina in particular, that is called after a little devil that is doing some tricks in the country. It's for gauchos, and they say it's cosa de mandinga. It's something that is magical. And I try to say that the things that we are doing with technology right now are kind of magical. It's we help our customers, we help the companies to have that magic moment when you hit a key on your keyboard and get the result that you need on the computer, or have a mobile application or a big data application that bring you information magically in some ways. That's the name of the company.
Lovely.
I say it.
Excellent. But guys, you can check them out at madinga.biz. And then Pablo, once again, thanks for coming on. All the best to you and your business. May you guys just grow in heights. All the best. Take care.
Okay. Thank
Bye
you.
now. Bye.